Hello, my name is Erica Andrade, and today I'll be talking about the issue of mental health problems within college students. And nowadays, more and more college students are showing symptoms of mental health problems, such as having panic attacks, anxiety, and long term depression. And with these symptoms and with these issues, most of these college students are getting affected by their grades are getting affected and their daily lives and activities are getting affected. Um, in a recent study by Anita Polovic called Using the WHO 5 Wellbeing Index to Identify College Students at Risk for Mental Health Problems, demonstrate that the two most major health problems was anxiety and depression. And within these two, there was a graph that showed that 53.8% were moderate to severe for depression, and then the other percent was 52.8% for moderate to severe anxiety. And what this shows is that from the study, the college students that did have depression were 53.8 were in the level of being moderate to severe, and then for anxiety there was a high level of moderate to severe. So when they did have depression or anxiety, they had very high levels of it and showed more symptoms about it. This demonstrates that the two most common would be depression and anxiety, and this would affect college students in their everyday life, like having anxiety about an exam or being anxious about taking an exam or their grades. And then having depression would affect their grades because they're too depressed to be able to do anything, or would be easily depressed by seeing them fail or having difficulties in college life. As well as college students having these problems, they also must face their own issues and fears, such as having the fear of seeking treatment, such as like going to a therapist and seeing what they have, and like if they have anxiety and depression, and just go overall to see a therapist. In a study called Creation of a Mental Health Treatment Fears and Obstacles Inventory for College Students, created by Stacy M. Rick and William J. Attenwheeler, it demonstrates that there were three main factors that caused college students to not want to seek a therapist. One was fear of therapy, or the therapist itself, fear of self-discovery, and fear of stigma and others. So the first one, fear of therapists, were that they were afraid of the therapist and what the therapist might do or judge them for. And then number two, fear of self-discovery. They were afraid of what they would find themselves with. They were afraid that they would find something more severe than anxiety and depression and other common illnesses. And so they were afraid of the diagnosis that they would get back from a therapist. And then fear of stigma is that they were afraid that society would judge them for, or label them crazy, or that they would think that by seeking treatment they would be considered weak. It was just what they thought that society would think about them. And so it's very important to realize that these factors come into play when helping a college student. That college students must always overcome those fears that they have. And so when treating college students and other people as well, you must first educate them and realize that their fears they shouldn't really have fears about having mental health problems, because it's something that all of us have, or something that's very common and that they should not be ashamed about. There's also been a study called Biofeedback and Counseling for Stress and Anxiety Among College Students by Diane Hayoshonino and Judy Prince, Kevin Sfernduk, and Paul Ratatanspritter. And it's called Biofeedback and Counseling for Stress and Anxiety Among College Students. And it basically talks about a study that showed that two groups of college students were tested one with counseling and one with biofeedback training, as well as counseling. And it showed that the group with biofeedback counseling did better than just having counseling. So biofeedback training is basically like having aerobics classes and physical activities like yoga and playing like games. And so it shows that to cure college students or to have solutions to their mental health problems is by not only giving them counseling, but to let them relieve their stress and their fears and their problems through activity, which is the most effective way, along with counseling. And so the possible solutions to having, mental health problems in college students is that, the schools can offer resources. For example, in LaGuardia, they offer many services through the Wellness Center. And through the Wellness Center, you can do activities like see a counselor without any shame, and as well as having confidentiality. So you don't fear that anyone will ever find out, not even your parents. And you could talk to them freely, and they're always available 24/7 when school's open. And they also offer educational classes and programs, such as like sometimes they have it in like the e-building, where they have like small little like lectures and like presentations talking about how common mental health is, if you can see that the symptoms, and possibly go seek more treatment. But the Wellness Center also offers physical relaxation programs. There's yoga on Wednesdays, I believe 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., which could alleviate stress. They also did a day where they had little games out. They had big Jenga, like the size of people Jenga. They had puzzles, they had coloring books, which would be considered biofeedback training. And so possibly the three solutions could be having a center that will offer treatment, having educational programs and classes, and physical relaxation. So it's very easy to implement these programs and not only save lives, save students the stress, and save them from having any fear of their stigma of mental health problems, but also helping their grades and their daily lives. Therefore, one of the major issues in college right now is college students having mental health problems, and many solutions are available that we can implement and help many people in LaGuardia.